Look at him. Happy family. Happy dog. A giant snowman. A cut lawn. My neighbors make me sick. Is what I would say if I was green with envy. How's it going? I think we often discredit the term the grass is greener on the other side. It's just another saying that you go on in life and you kind of brush off. I think it's, honestly, I don't want to say tone deaf, but I think if you hear it since you were a kid, the grass is greener, you either don't put a ton of thought into it or it's kind of like, you brush it off. It's, I think the impact hits one of the first few times you hear it because you're thinking about why is that? The grass is greener? What do you mean? Yeah, okay, maybe my neighbor's lawn looks more green, right? But as time goes on, you learn more about things like pettiness and jealousy. You start to realize that that statement holds a lot of weight to it. It unfortunately holds a lot of weight to it, but it's a good reality that we need to go by. It's a good reality to keep people in check with. Someone could be having a successful life, and there are people right across the street that are angry at that. People that usually are lacking in self-reflection, not recognizing what could be distinct about them, but rather they want to see you fall. They want to see that destroyed, bring you down to their level. Crabs in a barrel, which is a pretty crazy and sad phenomenon that unfortunately does happen with actual crabs, is, at times where it looks like if one might make it out, they pull that crab down. And even as, socially adept, hopefully, humans have gotten, that can happen quite a lot. Pride is the killer of man, but envy is the great poison that brings down a society. You have to keep checking it. You have to keep making sure that people are educated and understand that they too have distinct value. Something that they can bring in life. Not that they're obligated to, but that's just how life is. We all have different stories, and there's different ways that our lawns grow. It's Daryl Davis is the prime example of when the neighbor says, look at that awful lawn. Awful because it looks great. I hate it. You invite them over to the barbecue. But in this case, Daryl Davis was willing to invite KKK members. And this very talented R&B and blues singer, musician, he, through the combat of education, was able to do the fight of bringing a lot of members out of that clan. And that is, that's probably one of the most polarized but important examples about fighting the grass is greener with envy sensation. In this case, this is an act of ignorance. KKK members are taught hate-filled things all because someone's skin color is different. And then what Daryl's able to do is just invite them over, and through the act of genuine human conversation, these people recognize, oh, what have I been told? This is just another human being. And so, Daryl Davis is very inspirational for doing that. It's crazy how much people can get so hate-filled on their own Mad Max-looking, barren, awful lawn that they don't even want to admit. But that's the thing. It's only awful because of how hate-filled they are. Are you kidding me? Let's get some Mad Max bikes on that lawn. Yeah, that's awesome. And I think that's the gift of life. I think I think everyone lives such a distinct life that rather than being green with envy, what's something that distinct about you? We see the tip of the glacier, but what's underneath? What, you're mad that, your neighbor was born in Antarctica, so their glacier looks big and mighty, and your glacier was born off the coast of Brazil? Well, dang, born off the coast of Brazil, like, tell the news that's amazing. That's pretty distinct. It might melt fast, let's get you over to Antarctica, but that's quite the story. And I think we need to, sit down and learn more about true, genuine human value. Some of my favorite competitive games, Ultra Street Fighter 4 and competitive Team Fortress 2 Highlander, Project Plus for Super Smash Brothers. They all are known for, well-rounded and great character representation at a top level. And when you really break down those games, Ultra Street Fighter 4, they were able to hone in on characters that were already super distinct. Zangief, T.Hawk, DJ, Ryu, Ken, and really dial up what makes all those characters who they are. And I think that's a cool testament to diversity. Is, some people talk about, true game balance is an absolute mirror match. And you know what? I love Street Fighter 1. But I actually think that while Street Fighter 1 is, again, I like it. That is Ryu versus Ken. They have the same properties. You could say psychologically Ken wears red, so the Ken player will be more aggressive and the Ryu player will be more conservative. But stat-wise, they're the exact same. And I actually think that the key to good game balance is really what Street Fighter 4 was pushing, and what I like seeing in Street Fighter 6, and what we've kind of seen in Street Fighter 5, like Arcade Edition on, is they really were pushing an agenda for characters being distinct. I know people especially praise Street Fighter 5 at the end, but I definitely am making a testament to Street Fighter 4. And I've been playing Street Fighter 6 for the past year, thanks to John Miney buying it. That was a very kind gift of his. I was already interested in it, and I'm glad he did that. And so, Street Fighter 4 was able to dial into what makes each character distinct. And so rather than it being like some contest of like, wow, Akuma, you can shoot a projectile in the air. Yeah, but says Sagat, who can shoot even faster projectiles and, while crouching. It's more about, rather than doing some grass is greener envy sensation, look at what makes you distinct and, hone in on that, right? It's important to call out bad behavior and bad things to change for the better, but also recognize the foundation for what makes your garden you. And I think Street Fighter 4 did a good job with that. A character like Dan, Capcom just flat out said, we know Dan is basically the OG joke character. He is like the trope that we really established and pushed for fighting games, and we don't want to get rid of that. So Dan has a really cool, distinct spot in Street Fighter 4 and 5 where they didn't want to get rid of things like how his projectile, his Hadouken, Gadoken, it doesn't go as far as Ryu and Ken's, and they want to keep that. That's part of his identity. But there's a lot of quirky stuff they, were able to really hone in with Dan that makes him Dan. And that's the fun part. That's the fun part about competition, is the human experience we all bring to the table. A game of poker, the cards are randomized, but the people aren't. And sometimes people get so jealous that they make up false interpretations of who they're playing against. And the really scary part is they make fake chips, and they're scared that these chips could go for nothing. They're scared that by learning that the person they hate is actually not bad or down to earth, like what Daryl Davis did. They're scared that what they gambled on is gone. And at the end of the day, what are they left with? And by not having a healthy amount of self-worth, it kind of, to them, they feel like, what can I latch onto? I can't latch onto jealousy. If I'm wrong about this person, I'll be jealous about the next person. You're so lucky. You know, it's this constant negative cyclone of just blaming other things and, you know, not being able to look inside oneself and valuing content. Lao Tzu talks about how the man that is content is the richest man amongst us all. And I love that quote. That's such a powerful statement. Being able to enjoy life day for day, keep at it, be who you are. You know, they talk about the fruits of your labor. And in this case, yeah, your lawn's great. And then you can invite those people over for a barbecue. Now, if they're really going down the negative cyclone, you might need the silo. But hopefully regulations won't need to be going down for that. Green with envy. It's very dangerous. You look sick, kid. Get some medicine. And that medicine is the beauty of human conversation. Keep at it at what you're doing. Call out the bad things in life. And let people feel more cherished and appreciated for what they do, what they bring to the table, what they bring to the game we call life. And it's a fun game. It can be challenging, but keeping at it each day and seeing the birds enjoy the lawn that you helped make, it's pretty great. Humility is a virtue, as one of my favorite fictional characters I just mentioned, T.Hawk, said in Street Fighter 4, and one of my favorite quotes ever. By valuing humility, we can keep growing upon ourselves, and it can inspire others to grow for who they are. It's a great effect because we don't know what people go through. Even if someone would publish a biography, we might not know the full documentary about the Antarctica glacier. So when you're a glacier from Brazil reading that book, I gotta find what makes them tick. I gotta find the lottery tickets they won.
God, I've had to work hard every day of my life, and what do I have to show for it? This briefcase and this haircut. And what do you have to show for your lifetime of sloth and ignorance?
What?
Everything! A dream house, 2 cars, a beautiful wife, a son who owns a factory, fancy clothes, and lobsters for dinner. And do you deserve any of it? No!
Oh. Maybe they just kept at it in life. And you know what? You bring it up to Glacier from Antarctica, and maybe they do invite you over to the barbecue. And you know what? They're probably going to say, whoa, you're a glacier from Brazil? That's incredible. I would love to read your book.
Simpson, I shall make it the focus of my remaining years that your dreams will go unfulfilled.
Uh-oh, you're busted, Dad.
Oh, my dreams will go unfulfilled? Oh no, I don't like the sound of that one bit. That means I have nothing to hope for. Marge, make it better, please. Can't you make it better, huh?
Homer, when a man's biggest dreams include seconds on dessert, occasional snuggling, and sleeping till noon on weekends, no one man can destroy them.
Hey, you did it!
I love Monday.